Ever wonder how the pros repaired a broken volume knob where it was snapped off and you can't get a replacement? Sometimes you can get a replacement control, other times they're getting very hard to get with some of the vintage stuff, and you have to come up with innovative ways to fix the broken control. And on this one, I'm going to teach you a way that we used to repair things in the field and got some very good results using this technique. Let's check it out. I've got this old Sansui 771 receiver that was found at the side of the road. Have no idea whether it works or not. That's what we're going to find out. One thing I have noticed is that the volume knob has been broken off. So it's possible that that's all that's wrong with it. Someone broke the knob and threw the unit in the garbage. Let's hook this one up, see if it does anything. The moment of truth. Turn it on. I don't have any speakers turned on here. Speakers on. Turn it to AM. I'm just going to give it a bit of volume here. I've got to adjust the volume control with my screwdriver. Because the shaft is broken, but I can still turn it a bit. Okay, that works. I wonder if FM works.
This is not all how good he can hit.
Shop Pandora jewelry now. Buy more things.
So AM works. What about FM? I'm just looking for the muting off. Controls need to be cleaned. It needs that volume control replaced in a bad way. Let's take this one apart and see what type of volume control this uses. So there's a look in the top. As you can see, nice discrete output transistors on this unit. In the back here. This is probably, I'm going to guess, maybe 60, 75 watts per channel on this one. I have to look up the specs, but it's a 771, so it's probably about 75 watts per channel. But it works. It's got to get at that volume control on the bottom. This one uses I think this uses fuse bulbs. Oh, someone's replaced some lights in this. Someone's replaced this bulb. But the other bulbs are all, I think they're the cartridge type lamps on this that this one uses. So this is the bottom of the unit. This is the control board here. This has to be actually removed to get at the actual controls themselves. I don't know what value this one is. I do have a 50K dual pot that might do the job that I can probably wire in here. But to get at that, I'm going to have to actually remove all the knobs and take all the switches out, because these are all part of the actual assembly, which means taking the front off first, because these ones are going to be held in place by screws, but there'll probably be screws in behind these buttons on the switches here that are screwed into the chassis. So to get at that, I actually have to remove the front bezel, which means removing all the knobs first. Unfortunately, the control that I have is not going to fit. As you can see, this one uses the long shafts. All these controls are the long shafts. This one's broken off right here. There's the volume control there. So the volume control can still be turned. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and repair this control. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to join it to this, because this is a long control. If I cut this control, this is a plastic one. I'm thinking if I can epoxy this to here, it will create a control that's long enough that a knob should be able to be put on there. And how I think I'll do that is I'm going to take a piece of straw like this. This will fit quite snugly on this control. This will hold it in place so that epoxy can be forced in there and set up. Of course, that was a piece of straw, but I could probably do it with a piece of heat shrink tubing as well, and heat shrink tubing might actually be better, because once I get the heat shrink tubing in place and get the shaft on there, first of all, I'll be able to see whether I've got a good connection of epoxy, and I've cleaned this control pretty good here, but I'll be able to see a solid connection to make sure that the shaft is lining up properly as I push it together. But then I can also heat shrink it, which will of course give more adhesion, and that I think might do the job. So now it's just going to be a matter of cutting this control to the right length, which shouldn't be an issue. I think if I cut it just above where it splits here, I should be able to feed the control into here. I'll have to shorten down this piece of heat shrink tubing a bit. It's a little bit on the long side, but I figure if I can get the control in about like that, going in the other way of course, and epoxy there to join the two, I should be able to set this up. So I'm just going to go now and cut this shaft off so that I can make use of this plastic shaft. If I had a metal one I would use it, but the original metal is long gone. So I've got this cut off nice and rough as we like it. That way the adhesive can stick in it. Just going to check it for sizing here, make sure it'll fit into my heat shrink tubing. I think the control will fit in there okay. I should be able to epoxy that in like that. I'm just going to remove the control again now so that I can get some epoxy mixed up and get it in there. And then we'll try and set this thing up and let it set up and see how well it performs. As long as it's strong enough to turn the control, that's really all that matters, right? Trick is to get it all around the outside of the control here so that it's got a good bond. Make sure that it goes all the way around. I think my knobs are about, yep, they're about the same length. So that should work out. If that will hold once it sets up. We can help it along by shrinking the heat shrink tubing a bit. Now I'm going to let the epoxy set up, and we'll see how this holds once it sets up for a while. Well, here's the end result here. It's looking good. Now I can take this piece and put it back on for where the volume control was. should fit over there with the heat shrink on there, which it does. Leaving just the control sticking out. Now I can go about and clean the controls on this unit and check it out and see how good it sounds. As you can see, the original knobs actually fit on this too and turn it. So I'm not pushing the knobs on tight there because I haven't put the unit back together, but it should do the job. It's just to turn this unit back on and see how it sounds. Gotta clean the controls. Clean. Clean. Gotta get some more cleaner into the volume control here. That's a double control, so. It sounds a little better. So I think we can put the face back on this unit now and give it a check out. Front panel. Just like that. And I'll put this control onto the volume control, and I'll leave the balance one off. Because I think it'll fit on here no problem. I don't want to push it too hard on there, I don't want to break it, but there it is, the volume control's on. And we'll turn the unit back on. Oh, my selector switch needs to be cleaned as well. That's a bit better. That's a little better. As I thought, it uses the fuse type bulbs. One of the bulbs is missing because the clip that it clips into, the metal tabs have broken off. So someone has taken that one bulb out and not replaced it because obviously the clip is broken. So a soldering lamp could be put in place of that, but it's just at the very bottom end of the dial. It's probably not that noticeable. And sure enough, you can see the side of the display is a little bit dark because of the missing bulb. But I think it's probably about an 8-volt bulb. I don't have one of that size, but a soldering bulb would have to be put in place of that one because a fuse bulb obviously is not going to fit in there. The holder is broken. Anyway, let's get this one back together. We can deal with that light bulb, or the owner of it can deal with the light bulb if it's that important to him. It's you can still see the display. It's just a little darker down at the bottom end of the dial, but the rest of it looks fine. Let's get this unit back together. Speaker knob. There we go. Back together. Now he just has to find a matching knob to put on for the balance control. And it's good to go. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.